Yes, finally! This is the scaling I've been waiting for. This is what's going to wrap up pre-shippuden, and this is what's going to show the best feats. I hope you're ready for some extremely impressive feats, so let's skip ahead of where we were from the last video. Gaara's been defeated, Naruto spends time learning the Rasengan, Naruto and Sasuke fight, and we're moving on to the Sound 4 next. It is Sasuke retrieval arc now. Note, Naruto learning that Rasengan here though, time has passed. Alright, going forward with this video, limiting a character to their tuning selves, that would be foolish. Let's see what they bring to the table after this time that they've spent past the tuning exams. First to note is that we have the Sound 4 here. And as they are sound ninja like Dosu and the others from the Forest of Death, it's important to show once more, being sound ninja doesn't necessitate your abilities to even be based on sound. Only one of the 4 is. So you can't, that's why even back then I was like, you can't just say therefore speed of sound. Dosu has the clearest argument, but even he like changed and manipulated, almost like puppet on a string, where the speed is, it was contingent upon his chakra it seemed, rather than the actual natural speed of sound. Anyways, that's back then. Going now, again, one of the 4 is based on actual sound. This again is why I hate the title of something being considered equal to the properties of something, but what they do show is being able to easily react to Curse Mark 1 Sasuke from close range. Very close range. Ultimately, Sasuke goes with them, and now it is that Sasuke retrieval time. Here we see possibly the clearest example yet, and why you don't scale the explosive tags to characters using the speed of the explosions themselves. They have pretty decent lag, and at this point, it makes sense that Shikamaru, somewhat Neji, and Choji for sure would be hit, having the reaction speed but not necessarily the movement speed to dodge, but only by the small degree they did. That said, we know they continue on and are captured by Jirobo, and it's here I need to address a huge elephant in the room. Have you noticed through all these videos, whenever a character gets more chakra, they become stronger? I'm sure the answer was a quick yes, but then do you think more chakra in of itself is equal to more AP, more speed, or more any other base stat? Let me cover this clearly. So from the top, straight out, stats in Naruto are very evidently affected via your level of chakra control, plus the amount of chakra being controlled to any given area. Don't believe me for some reason? Because that's pretty much the math behind it. Just consider these scans. Naruto can barely keep away due to utilizing chakra to his feet. Not just chakra to his hands, not just having more chakra, but specifically his chakra to his feet. Something he actually does, not merely states you can see it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be fast enough. Choji gained, and a lot of these will be covered here going forward, but this has to be addressed now. Choji gains an immense amount of chakra when he became stronger from the pills, but it was further that he also transferred his chakra to his left hand for the final blow, increasing the power of it, like compared to if the chakra was distributed evenly. Kiba showed it earlier with the soldier pills. And we see it with Sakan and his chakra rising when he goes stage 2. It's an increase of chakra that allows Tsuyu to force herself through Shikamaru's shadow manipulation. Hell, let's look back at the beginning though. Stamina becomes chakra, but stamina isn't power. A lot of these are examples of them being able to do things they were struggling to do before but could now with more chakra. So it would seem, again, I understand at the basis it's like more chakra, more power. I'm gonna get to that. Again, let's look at the beginning, how it's actually shown and explained. Again, stamina becomes chakra. Stamina is not power. Chakra, however, can become ninjutsu or genjutsu, can also be used as an amp on the physical as shown in all the prior scans. AKA, it can be used to amp power or AP. Zelius, you're contradicting yourself. Don't worry, I'll get there. Additionally, note that when stamina is converted to chakra, chakra generated is either used or lost. It is never converted back to stamina, as you can see in the bottom left. And lastly, the reason Naruto can do what he can is not because he has so much more AP than everyone else. He isn't faster, he isn't stronger in base, he isn't outright outstatting everyone around him. He simply has an absurd amount of stamina to turn into chakra. Listen closely. It's not simply more chakra, therefore more stats. Again, it is not more chakra, therefore faster. More chakra, therefore more AP, etc. It is more chakra plus chakra control plus the utilization method of that chakra that determines, say, an amp. Now, but all these other characters, all they got was more chakra, they became more powerful. Doesn't that contradict? No, not in the slightest. Okay, this point is too important to be misunderstood, so I'm going to continue this point. Listen, the reason these people are stronger with the more chakra just by itself is because the chakra control and utilization of it hasn't changed. It's not like think of it like 3 different stats. We'll just say stat A, stat B, and stat C. Their B and C is still at like a 50-50, and their stat A went from a 50 to an 80. Well, of course, whatever X character, if they go from a 50-50-50 to an 80-50-50, they are stronger. Yes, the amount of chakra did raise their strength, but it was because they could utilize that extra amount of chakra to amp themselves better with the same amount of chakra control. That's why Naruto, having as much chakra as he can create, he's not out here. Let me actually keep going with this perfect example. Naruto has more chakra than Kakashi, okay? This should make it as clear as possible. What you're seeing is person A with 10 chakra becoming stronger, and now they are person A with 15 chakra. Of course they got stronger. All their parameters, like I was just saying, are the same, but with more chakra. However, this does not mean person A with 15 chakra has more speed or more AP than person B, a completely different person that has only 8 chakra. Consider Naruto could easily be the 15 and Kakashi the 8 if we were to compare chakra totals. I really hope this is being understood because I've seen too many people, just too many times, see the statement about Ten Tails having like planetary levels of chakra, for example, which is comparable to just the radar of the battlefield that was used, but that's besides the point. Let's say it does in fact have a planetary amount of chakra to use. Too many times people act like planetary amount of chakra, therefore planetary amount of AP. This is on some part 1 Naruto has more AP than Kakashi level thinking. These people became more powerful with more chakra, but it was due to you're comparing them to themselves. Okay, their utilization of that chakra and chakra control was the same still. Okay? These other characters that might have less total chakra could have more chakra control, except, like, perfect example is KCM 1 versus KCM 2. Like, he didn't get an astounding more amount of chakra. No, it was pure, like, better chakra control, better utilization of it that allowed him to get the amp difference that he did. Oh, like, this stuff is so obvious when you think about it, but Ten Tails has planetary chakra, levels of chakra, so planetary AP. I see that, and it's like, no, not even close. I mean, even continuing on, if you were to say that amount of chakra equals the amount of AP, speed, or whatever, like, that amount of chakra is equal to the stats in of itself, if that was the case, then every time someone used a jutsu or expelled chakra, you'd have to be saying that they lost power and or stats then, right? Like I can move 280 meters a second. I use 10% of my power, or 10% of my chakra. Well, then you'd have to say they, like, legit lost 28 meters per second as their top speed then. Right? Like, if you're gonna sit here and apply amount of chakra equals stats. Let's continue. Again, this has to be covered. Let's say the planetary amount of chakra is a number of 1,000. If amount of chakra equals stats, then that means the Ten Tails could hit with a planetary amount of AP. Congratulations, you can logic it out. But would require every drop of that chakra to be in an attack, a singular attack, or all 1,000 chakra to be used at once. That's what would get you that planetary AP. You'd also be saying if he attacks with 100 chakra, he's hitting with only 10% planetary force. And now that 10% of his chakra is gone, he'd only have 900 chakra at most, which, if you're going to claim that amount of chakra equals stats, means again he lost 10% of his stats. 10% of his durability, 10% of his speed, 10% of his AP, at least if you're going to compare it directly to AP and only AP for whatever reason. He's lost 10% of his AP and is incapable of putting out a full power attack of all 1,000 chakra. Let me make this clear. Sasuke can use chakra to make and use a Chidori at max power, and it may tire him. Chakra will be used and he won't have 100% chakra anymore. Yet he absolutely will still be able to move at 100% speed and use another 100% power Chidori. He's shown it before. Hell, Naruto spams Razengans later. This is even normal in real life. These people don't just use up a little bit of energy. I'm not at max energy more. I can't possibly put out my max anymore. You right now can punch and kick yourself tired as hell, and guess what? Let yourself rest up to just the point you catch your breath. Your stamina is still far from 100%. But guess what? Bet you can punch and kick at full power just the same. In fact, you don't even need to have fully cut your breath yet. Chakra amount does not equal stats. Chakra is a supply, not an AP gauge. This is why, when Jirobo makes that 10 times strength statement, it would be in regards to his chakra amount and him utilizing it towards strength. Something not everyone can do to the same degree with the same control. It's something very obvious as you look at the Sound 4 as a group. If chakra is being understood, chakra. If you're understanding it now, I feel I can move back onto the speed part of this whole, video, because I will not be taking a speed feat shown later and simply multiply it by 10 whenever a Sound 4 member or Sasuke goes Curse Mark 2. Man, that was a lot at once, but it has to be brought up like that because Jirobo is taking their chakra. And it gets to the point that Naruto finds it too hard to even make a Rasengan. This is due to a lack of precise control of the chakra, the utilization of it, right? Not him not having enough chakra itself. So ultimately, what we see next is that they take pills to get back their chakra, their stamina, and we can move on to Choji versus Jirobo itself, where we get down to some heavy doping. Those 3 pills of his are no joke. We can see it raises his chakra levels, but he never showed an increase of speed via a single pill. And we finally get to, he didn't even show it with the second pill, to be fair. And finally, we get to Jirobo with Curse Mark 2 and his 10 times strength statement. This is the only statement that uses strength instead of chakra being what actually increased. And you know what? He backed it up. It is true. Jirobo backed it up via feats, but I'll keep saying it. This isn't something that we get to apply to every single character. Finally, we then get to Butterfly Choji with the 3rd pill raising his chakra immensely. He's now so fast that Jirobo, who can easily react to Curse Mark 1 Sasuke, without even being in Curse Mark 2 himself, who, not just Curse Mark 1 Sasuke, who would be faster than the base Sasuke, who in Chunin Arc was weightless Lee speed. He is this fast to Curse Mark 2, that stage level of Jirobo, who has trouble keeping up with his movement. What's more is that he now has enough strength to stop Curse Mark 2 Jirobo with a chakraless hand and makes the claim to be 100 times more powerful. No, don't say he got a 100 times boost to every single stat. That was the point. An increase spread across his stats is shown. And in this case, mostly speed. His strength increased as well, of course, but his final blow is not even close to 100 times anything Choji hasn't already shown. The biggest feat here for Choji is actually his speed increase, meaning Butterfly Choji would have movement speed of around Gate 3, Lee, and far more strength. Of course, I'm going with minimums. He really could be faster than, like, Mach 3 here, but that is a pretty good minimum. But finally, I can move on to the feats I'm most excited to cover. Neji versus Kidomaru. We get an idea of his casual web speed, but it's nothing too impressive. And we see Kidomaru is talking about taking him out in 3 minutes as playing around. And importantly, note how close they are to each other. See, now we have different webs and we can't tell their speed, but given their number and the short distance, it's surprising, but yeah, he catches Neji. Next, he jumps closer, as he had knocked Neji back, to try and end him, and you'll notice he says it's only been a minute. Only? What the hell? Like, how? How did a full minute pass already? I don't know, something's up. These definitely aren't time ninja, because if a minute actually passed, then these panels certainly aren't showing such time passage. Anyway, Neji goes on to escape, and now we have him dodging a lot of daggers at once. Like, a lot. While dealing with spiders and their webs slowing him down. To give an idea, these attacks are from 50 meters away and are definitely landing within a single second's time frame, aka 50 meters per second. It's not that fast, it's very fair. Now, like I said, it's not that fast by itself, only about 14% of Mach 1. But what happens when there are many moving that same speed? When you've moved your speed to answer one of the daggers, the next isn't 50 meters from you anymore. The next is maybe as little as 5 meters from you, still moving 50 meters per second. Reacting to that one is then the same as reacting to something like 500 meters per second from 50 meters away. Again, that's the same 500 meters per second from 50 meters away. If you can react to that, that's the same as reacting to 50 meters per second from nearly 5 meters away. And that's around, say, Mach 1.5. Now, those were just kind of baseline numbers using what we're given, because he doesn't even start, like, there's nothing to react to until they get close enough, right? Because he doesn't try to move from his spot, for whatever reason. I know he's not movement speed based, but anyways. What I'm trying to say is, it's hard to concretely cover this feat, because additionally, aim dodging a majority will affect this feat, and he definitely has the reaction speed, not just the combat speed, but the reaction speed, to have made it where he could dodge a lot with, like, singular movements. So, he's not showing to react, dodge, or strike each and every dagger on an individual basis, but just wanted to show how insane it can be in theory. But that's fine, because look at Neji here. As slowed down as possible, with not 50 meters to react from, but merely 4 meters from the closest ones, and look how many there are. Then, note how few, absolutely few, actually hit him. This is a minimum of Mach 1.5 reactions I was talking about just before. I mean, minimum, you cannot be any lower than reactions and combat speed too. I can't stress minimum enough here, and I'm personally partial to the Mach 2 plus as a minimum instead, as I can't accurately put a number on how much the web slowed, but really, Mach 2 plus is extremely fair. It like more than fair as a mega lowball. This is me putting in some like Yu Yu Hakusho levels of lowball here, okay? It's gotta be way higher than that. It's again just awkward not knowing how much he could aim dodge multiples with singular movements, right? That's the only thing that's really holding me back. But there's more. Kidomaru goes on to try to finish it, and we can see the 50 meters is backed by more than just statements, with a single arrow far faster and stronger than any of those daggers. And I mean far stronger and faster than those daggers. You're seeing what the air pressure of that arrow is causing those trees to do, right? It's not just me, right? And this isn't a singular tree. And this arrow isn't the size of a tornado. It's It's an arrow. How fast would this thing have to go for it to affect this many trees of this amount to bend to that degree with just the air pressure? The answer? Easily around Mach 6 as a absolute low ball compared to like the speed required for something similar with like a person. Like an arrow is much smaller. This arrow is extremely impressive in speed. But importantly, this was from around 50 meters away. I want to hit this point again too. Don't get carried away now. This was from 50 meters away. Neji, he reacted to this, but barely. The same attack could have been from 40 meters away instead. No difference in the speed, and he wouldn't have been able to do anything. The distance matters a lot. Neji is not fighting at the Mach 6 speed of this arrow, okay? He had 50 meters to work with, but he can react to something going at minimum Mach 6 speed if he has 50 meters to work with. Up close, it's different, but that's even if you're cutting it down to where it's like Mach 4 or something, you know? Like, basically what I'm trying to say is, at this point with the time passage, Lee could go his full gates, and Neji could hand-to-hand fight this guy, not needing his, shoot, I'm messing up names right now, but his rotation. Because prior, yeah, could Neji have fought, was it necessarily that Lee would have beaten him? Definitely not necessary. His rotation would have put a dead stop to Lee. But that doesn't mean that he necessarily would have won either. It was kind of up in the air. It could potentially go to Lee. But at this point, what I'm saying is no. Neji could hand-to-hand fight Lee at full speed. Like, no problem. Okay. But he's not, but, again, I know I'm stretching this video out. Hey, we needed a longer one again, right? But, yes, while this arrow was going at minimum Mach 6 speed, Neji didn't react, like, point blank. He had 50, okay, cool. We do then get to see that the tree movement wasn't a fluke. Though, in comparing the damage it's dealing to the ground and getting stuck in a tree like that, it's not the most potent. That's besides the point. Just wanted to point that out because I do want to pull back to my other video where I was talking about like small building level, like total joules and such. Like, everything is still within that limit. But now he's going to go all out, and we see his maximum output, and look at that. How fast did that go? There's no way to tell, but to address the AP concerns real quick, wow, he destroyed a lot of trees, right? No, not a single tree was hit. That was all air. That's great for speed, but the potency, we still don't get to see much of anything. You'll see Neji starts putting his chakra into the thread, and it follows back to Kidomaru. Not a single tree was hit. Again, just to be consistent, I wasn't missing any feats to say like small building level, you know, when I was calculating the AP with his Rasengan and saying like, we're getting up into like full building levels AP by the time that they're, you know, doing their clash and such. Like, we're still within those numbers. Don't worry. The AP amount is still highly consistent with everything I had been saying. But yes, not a single tree was hit. But here we have another great Neji feat. Notice how high up Kidomaru is. Given the size of these trees, we're talking as much as 85 feet up high. And this is important because Neji runs towards him as he's falling. Injured Neji, that is. Injured, exhausted Neji. And he runs that distance all the way to Kidomaru in time to where Kidomaru is only up to almost Neji's height off the ground before this. Neji attacks him before he hits the ground and causes him to lose his ability to channel chakra. Interpretation time. How many times would Neji need to do, like, to actually hit him in that time frame to do this? To cause him to not be able to use his chakra at all? Did him channeling his chakra earlier, like into him, where he fell, like make it require less now? Or did it only deal damage to his organ, like he said? We know it wasn't until this feat here that he was forced from Curse Mark 2 back to base. So he still had, you know, chakra enough to hold Curse Mark 2, let alone 1. And now he can't do any. This is important because at this point in time, Kidomaru would be falling with a speed of around 22.5 meters per second, approaching terminal velocity. And if he used 64 palm strikes in this time frame, we'd be looking at an astounding Mach 2.1 attack speed from Neji. That's double the attack speed we saw from Lee with his momentum. In terms, yeah, and it'd be on a consistent course. Now, of course, we don't get to see if that's really what happened. Perhaps half of this was required and it's barely above Mach 1, which would still be Gate 4 Lee level, but for Neji as a continuous combat speed, like I said. To be fair, perhaps it was just that one strike with both hands. It's impossible to know, but keep this in the back of your mind because I think we can fit this in via scaling to others to make this as accurate and consistent as possible, of course, but it also kind of fits with, and whenever he completely cut off a person from Chakra, it was his 64 palms. Or at least many multiple strikes. Again, even if you want to have it. But even with his reactions to that crazy arrow, like I said, he could consistently be scaling up to easily Mach 3, and it would make sense that he hit him at least the 64 times. Oh, last thing, that would be his attack speed. Almost forgot. Neji, in moving to him, the distance he covered moving to him, showed movement speed of around 5% of Mach 1. So yeah, he's definitely sticking with his combat and reaction speeds. So yeah, hopefully you're seeing what some of these characters can really be showing off at this point in time. But, this video is already getting long enough, so, I hope you enjoyed it because this video here today, we were covering how Chakra works. It's not just simply a very obvious 1-to-1 ratio, linear, no brain, don't even have to think about it, lazy calcing type scaling. No, Chakra actually has different layers to it. Good job for the writing, actually. Then this video is covering Neji, and it's covering Choji, especially the Choji speed. I know he didn't get as much feats as Neji here, but really note that speed. Very impressive there, though it was with doping. We got to see some of what the early, just baseline Sound 4 ninjas could do. And what's coming up next, so, stay tuned because, we got Sasuke, we got Kidomaru, we got Lee coming, we got Gaara. It's all going to be there, it's all getting covered. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, of course. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, it always helps. It's when I get, that feedback from you guys, and I know that, what I'm providing is something that you haven't really seen before, especially if that's the case. Because I know my outlook is different from the general scaling. It's that's what keeps me going strong, and it makes me want to put out more and more videos. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video. Ciao.
Pastor.